I want to tell you a story. It's a story you may think you know, but you don't.
This is a short recap of an Oscar-winning movie called Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It reimagines the adventures of Pinocchio, a wooden puppet who comes to life and struggles to live up to his father's expectations. In Italy during World War II, the woodcarver Geppetto, in a drunken frenzy 20 years after losing his son Carlo to an airstrike during the Great War, cuts down the pine tree planted in Carlo's memory and uses it to make a wooden boy. The wood sprite grants the puppet a life, naming him Pinocchio, and appoints Sebastian to morally guide him in exchange for a wish. When Geppetto woke up to find a living Pinocchio, he was horrified, and Pinocchio was fed up with his silliness. The town Podesta orders Geppetto to send Pinocchio to school.
Everybody likes him. He's made of wood too. Why do they like him and not me?
People are sometimes afraid of things they don't know.
On his way, Pinocchio is intercepted by showman Count Volpe and his monkey Spazzatura, who bring him to their circus. Geppetto arrives to take Pinocchio back, resulting in a confrontation between him and Volpe that ends with Pinocchio being fatally hit by the Podesta's truck. In the afterlife, he meets the wood sprite's sister, Death, who explains to Pinocchio that he is immortal and revives him when an hourglass empties. Death cautions that the more he dies, the more time he will spend in the afterlife. After returning to the mortal realm,
Why can't you be more like Carlo?
Because I'm not Carlo. Carlo is...
Enough! You are such a burden.
Pinocchio decides to earn money for Geppetto by performing in the circus, as well as to avoid being enlisted into the army by the Podesta. Geppetto and Sebastian will go on a journey to find Pinocchio. In an attempt to reclaim his position as the circus's star, a jealous Spazzatura informs Pinocchio that Volpe is defrauding him of the money he falsely promised to give to his father. Hearing this, Volpe viciously beats Spazzatura, upsetting Pinocchio. Meanwhile, on the way, Geppetto and Sebastian were swallowed by a giant dogfish. In order to sabotage Volpe, Pinocchio performs a song ridiculing Benito Mussolini while he is in attendance. Mussolini has Pinocchio executed, and the circus is burned. Once revived, Pinocchio finds himself being taken by the Podesta to a boot camp, where other boys are trained to fight in the war. Pinocchio befriends the Podesta's son, Candlewick, who is afraid of disappointing his father. After a training game between two teams led by Pinocchio and Candlewick ends in a tie, the Podesta orders Candlewick to shoot Pinocchio. Candlewick refuses and stands up to his father. The training camp is then bombed by Allied aircraft, killing Podesta, while Candlewick and the other boys flee. Pinocchio is captured by Volpe, who tries to burn him to death as revenge for ruining his career. Spazzatura saves Pinocchio, resulting in Volpe falling off a seaside cliff to his death alongside Pinocchio and Spazzatura during a struggle with the monkey. Lost at sea, Pinocchio and Spazzatura are swallowed by a giant dogfish. Inside the monster's belly, Pinocchio and Spazzatura find Geppetto and Sebastian. Thanks to an idea by Sebastian, Pinocchio lies to make his nose grow into a large branch, thus forming a bridge leading out of the monster's blowhole. Making their escape as the monster attempts to eat them again, Pinocchio sacrifices himself by detonating a naval mine inside the monster, killing them both. Upon meeting Death again, Pinocchio demands to be sent back early to save Geppetto from drowning. Death warns him that doing so will make him mortal, but Pinocchio breaks the hourglass to return and ends up drowning while saving his father. The wood sprite reappears before warning Geppetto, and Sebastian uses his wish to make her revive Pinocchio. Pinocchio returns home with his father, Sebastian, and Spazzatura to live together as a family. Outliving all of his loved ones, Pinocchio decides to travel the world. The end. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more movie recaps, and thanks for watching.